Welcome to the Crypto Corner right here on Schwab Network. I'm Jenny Horne. Let's jump right into all things Bitcoin and beyond. Joining us now is Nate Peterson, the Director of Derivatives Analysis at the Schwab Center for Financial Research. So Nate, of course we usually start off with Bitcoin, but I'll throw a curveball at you. Let's talk Ethereum. We have some bullish projection from its founder. Walk us through the latest.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Jenny. Bitcoin's little brother, Ethereum, right? But it does have Ethereum does have a huge user base and developer base, and Ethereum's co-founder, Vitalik Buterin, he basically said that we need to up the scalability of the network within a year. So he's looking to improve the capabilities 10x over the next year or so. Because of reliability issues, congestion issues when it becomes really busy on the network. And if you look at a potential competitor, if you want to call it that, like Solana, they are cheaper than Ethereum, they're faster. And so bottom line is Ethereum needs to keep up with having that appeal to a wide range of users and developers. And that's really the aim that they're trying to do here. So it's necessary. You have to stay relevant. I mean, in this crypto space, these networks can be highly competitive in the sense that you want to have the utility. So you have those use cases. You want to appeal to a wide mass of audiences. So you have that open source capability. You want low cost. You want reliability. You want security, etc. And so, a lot of these protocols that get written are designed to address those issues. And so this is what Ethereum is doing, is saying, hey, look, if we want to maintain the network that we have, and look, all of these networks are, thrive off of popularity and the network effect, and you go to where the party is. And so you want to maintain that community. And that's essentially what Ethereum is trying to do here. Now, on a technical basis, if we look at Ethereum, it's been interesting. It has outperformed Bitcoin recently here over the past month or so. But if you look at that 200-day simple moving average, and Jenny, we talked about this before, it looked a little bit like a cup and handle formation, but we don't have a confirmation yet. It's really, it seems to be stuck around that 200-day simple moving average. In an ideal world, from a technical bullish perspective, what you would want to see is that cup, and then the handle, and then a clean break on big volume to the upside. That would be your bullish confirmation. We have yet to see that. So the good news for the bulls is that the price really hasn't retreated that much. So it does have bid support there, but we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if it can take out its 200-day simple moving average. Even though it might be slightly above that right now, you kind of want to see that break with conviction on volume and have multiple closes above that moving average.
Yeah, and Ethereum has been its own story, because I feel like we've seen that delayed participation in the upside that Bitcoin has continuously seen. And so now to shift to Bitcoin, catching some shade from JPMorgan's Jamie Dimon. Tell us more on this, because I know Jamie Dimon has been a critic and now a friend of the space.
Yeah, no doubt. Jamie Dimon, I mean, look, I have a lot of respect. He is, basically the godfather of finance in a sense, but he does. It does still have skepticism around the crypto space. He's no stranger to making headlines, and so Jenny, he was basically a little bit, hinting that the government should not be focusing on Bitcoin as a strategic asset or reserve, and instead be focusing on defense and other, resourceful kind of issues that, using our funds. And, it's funny, Jenny, that he would mention that right now. First of all, we did announce, the U.S. announced that they're going to have Bitcoin as a strategic reserve, but they said we're not going to spend new money to go and acquire Bitcoin. So right now, we're just going to shift the categorization of the Bitcoin that we collected from theft, etc., and those type of initiatives, and we're just going to classify that now as a strategic reserve, but we have no intention yet to go out there and spend new money to buy Bitcoin. Meanwhile, if you look at what's going on with the budget deficit and trying to get this big, beautiful bill to pass, It's kind of funny that Jamie would be mentioning that at a time like this, that there's not a provision to buy Bitcoin within this bill. But look, Jamie Dimon has been skeptical the whole way, and that's fine. JPMorgan, they are offering crypto to their clients, so we know that the adoption is happening there. And I don't take much from the headlines there. And if you're a Bitcoin bull, do you need the U.S. to be acquiring Bitcoin as a strategic reserve? I say there are plenty other channels, other avenues from corporations, from state governments, from other countries, from potentially the investor down the line that might look to accumulate Bitcoin, that is probably the primary driver for taking some of that supply off the market.
Okay, and elsewhere in crypto, I want to touch on awaiting Circle's IPO. So, I mean, right now we're expecting price could range between $27 and $28. We've already seen overwhelming demand. Actually, I was reading that the stablecoin issuer received orders for more than 25 times the number of shares available. So, walk us through that story.
Sure. Yeah. So Circle, yeah, a stablecoin issuer, USDC, and they. It's a good sign to see that type of demand. We'll likely see more of these types of crypto-related companies come into the public eye. We've seen a couple of them come via SPAC. Like there's 21 Capital, for example. There's DeFi that came public via SPAC. And so this one is actually going to be doing the traditional route via an IPO. And I think it's good news to see this space come out. The only thing that I would be concerned about is that if we begin to see an influx of these crypto-related companies, and they are coming at a time when legislation is becoming more conducive for having these types of offerings, but you don't want to see too much supply come into the market. It used to be that you just go to MicroStrategy or you go to some of the miners, maybe Block, but there weren't that many ways to get exposure via equities into the crypto space. And so that will increase, but you just don't want to see an influx of too many of these companies, because that can just provide more supply, more saturation, and potentially take some of that investment dollar away from even buying Bitcoin or Ethereum or MicroStrategy. So we'll keep an eye on that, but I'd say net it's bullish to see these types of offerings come into the space, and then we'll see where it ends up opening. 27 to 28 is the pricing there based on the demand. It looks like there's going to be a chance it's going to be higher than that when it opens.
I definitely agree, especially from looking at already the interest of this entire name. So finally, we get some IPOs to talk about. It's been quite a light market for IPOs, but appreciated all of that wonderful insight on Bitcoin, Nate Peterson. And thank you for watching this week's episode of Crypto Corner. Be sure to catch each one by liking and subscribing to Schwab Network's YouTube channel. I'm Jenny Horne, and we'll see you next time.